You gotta remember that a lot of confidence will come from competence. So there's a lot of times when I've got a presentation or something to do and I feel anxiety or I feel like fear around it or something, it's usually because I haven't prepared enough. So when I sit down and then I prepare, I'm like, okay, what am I going to speak about? Okay, this, what stories am I going to tell? And I start putting it together, then I feel like the anxiety and all the fear and everything negative around it starts to drop, and the confidence and competence starts to go up. So I think preparing for it is the best thing possible. In terms of, maybe I would be like, okay, if it's a loud salah, like then I would be like, okay, what ayahs of Quran am I going to recite, or what surahs am I going to recite? So just being clear on what I'm going to recite, memorizing that, making sure everything's on point, all of those kind of things. I think there's another element, which is like the rituals that you do. So we always say before like a big performance, there should be certain rituals that you do. So for example, there's certain du'as you can do. Like there's a du'a for speaking, as everyone knows. There's a du'a for ease. There's a really good one I like as well, which is the du'a for shirk, which is to do with like showing off and riyah and all this stuff. So I think like having these du'as in place, doing your wudu, arriving early, all these kind of things, that what you do before the actual situation will have an impact on your performance in the situation. So you want to make sure that the stuff you do beforehand is much better. So even things like, drinking lots of water the day before, even a few hours before, going to sleep and having a good sleep, good rest, all these things, making sure that you're fresh, shower, all this kind of, like, these are all the things I would do beforehand to prepare for it. And then, like I said, there's the whole dua element, all this kind of stuff. Now, when you get into the moment, by the way, I would also do some practice at home. So I would actually get ready to pray salah, and I would imagine that I'm leading salah. So I would like practice that part as well, right? Imagine that I'm actually leading salah. Imagine people are doing it behind me, and actually do it like that. I think the one big factor to remember in this situation is that when you're in the moment, you have to make sure you're doing it for Allah. Because when you're leading a salah, sometimes it's very, very problematic from an intentions perspective, because you kind of have like these thoughts that come to your head, and you're like, oh yeah, I should do it properly. I should stand straighter. I should recite nicer, and I should do all of this stuff. So I think during this week, one of the things I would do is I would try and improve my prayer while I'm alone. And this is one of the things I try to do. Like when I'm praying and I'm praying in a lazy way, I'll remind myself, like, imagine if there was a person here, like I would be praying really good. There's no one here except Allah, so I should be praying even better. So I would really work on my salah right now, like trying to improve my salah in general. And then when I'm in that moment of leading the salah, I think the intentions, all that kind of stuff is good. And anytime you start thinking about the people, which is what happens sometimes, like if you're leading salah, I remember I was leading salah the other day on a beach, or near a beach, and there was a prayer room there. And I haven't led salah because I live in Morocco, so I just go to the masjid and stuff. I haven't led salah like that for a long time. And I remember I started to get a bit nervous while I was reciting Quran. And then I refocused, and I was like, look, the reason you get nervous is because you're focusing on the people, and you're thinking, what are the people going to think about my recitation, about my salah, about my prayer, all this stuff. And the problem with that is obviously it's shirk, it's riyah, all this stuff. So the real answer to that is to refocus. And so what I did is I basically refocused that this is being done for Allah. Okay, and Allah is the one that you need to please. Allah is the one that you're actually reading the salah for. It is not for the people and all of these kind of things. And I think that's one of the things. And then afterwards, after this thing is done, I would be grateful to Allah for giving you the opportunity, and make the most of that as well, inshallah. You should come up with a ritual, and with the ritual you can decide what you want it to be. There are different things. So for example, maybe if I drink coffee, maybe I feel active. Maybe if I drink tea, I feel relaxed. So it really depends on you. In terms of like what you want to do beforehand and how things affect you. And that's why I'm saying you have to create a ritual which is personal to you. Another thing you could do is you could start to think about, what state do I want to be in the salah? So when I'm praying, what is the state I want to be in? Maybe you would say sincere, maybe you would say humble, maybe you would say focused. Whatever the state is, you could actually practice that. Like you could close your eyes, you could sit back, or even when the best time is the salah, where you actually try to be, humble and connected to Allah and all these things. But yeah, I think you should create a ritual. Like you should have it in your mind, right? The day I'm leading salah, I'm gonna, get to the masjid or get to the place by this time. I'm gonna shower up. This is the du'as I'm gonna do before. I'm gonna read like 1 page of Quran. I'm saying you need to come up with what you think is best. I have my own way of doing things, but I think you should choose something that's personal to you, and that will help you to be ready in the best state, inshallah.